I'm Steve.
So that teaser, since I started this channel, I knew for a fact that when it came time for the Minecraft movie, I'd be making videos analyzing trailers leading up to it, and eventually the actual movie. I'm not going to give my actual opinions on the teaser just yet, I'm going to wait a bit to let it kind of settle into my brain, but I do want to do some pretty heavy analysis of the trailer to get an idea of what we're getting ourselves into. So right off the bat, we have an interesting detail in terms of the portal that brings the cast into the Minecraft world, in that it's not your standard Minecraft portal, it is in fact blue. To me at least, this is kind of reminiscent of the 20W Infinity A April Fool's update for 2020. When we skip ahead to the first bit of scenery we see for the entire teaser, an important detail to note is the spinning windmills to the left of the village. It's hard to make out any specific details, but they almost kind of look like birch trapdoors, being, thinner than the rest of the blocks in the shot, especially on the windmills themselves. It also reminds me of a lot of the fans for the windmills in the Create mod. In the same shot, we see a variety of mobs scattered throughout the frame, including cows, llamas, some villagers, which I'll get back to later, as a few wandering traders and some chickens, including a giant chicken statue on the roof of a building for some reason. When we once again skip ahead a few seconds to the frame with the cast walking through the world for presumably the first time in the film, there are a few notable details. First of all, on the left-hand side of the frame, we see a tree, but for some reason the trunk is incredibly thin, as well as cherry blossom biome in the background. If we also look to the right-hand side of the frame, we'll notice a clump of yellow flowers, but they don't appear to just be regular dandelions. They're pretty massive and blocky. And whilst this could just be a stylistic choice for the movie, I don't personally think it is, because we can also see regular sized flowers scattered throughout the frame. When we reach the next shot, we see our first front-on view of the cast. We have Jason Momoa as Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison, sporting his best Dora the Explorer cosplay, Wednesday's Ebba Myers as Natalie, Sebastian Hansen as Henry, and Danielle Brooks as Dawn. In the background of the shot, we once again see the blue portal, this time surrounded by the traditional obsidian flame, once again reminding me of 20W Infinity A. As we flash through close-up shots of each character, we also see more of these oddly large flowers in the background, this time in a variety of colours. And after the horrifying sheep encounter, we stumble across something else incredibly interesting. Henry is carrying what appears to be some kind of blue block. My immediate thought was that it was a diamond block, but since this is presumably quite early on in the movie, I really don't think it could be. I also doubt it's a beacon for the same reasons, combined with the fact that there's no obsidian base. I'm personally just willing to bet that this is some kind of MacGuffin made up for the movie. Next up, we see our first look at the Piglins, which I'm going to get onto a bit later on, what I think their purpose will be in the movie. As right now, I don't really want to discuss that. I want to discuss some other stuff. Because first of all, we have ghasts being used as transportation, which is cool as hell in my opinion. This was actually originally a scrapped concept for Minecraft Legends. It reminds me of the various texture packs that replaced the ghasts in the vanilla game with hot air balloons piloted by Piglins. The next detail I want to move on to is what the Piglins are holding. If we look to the right Piglin, it appears to be holding some kind of staff that isn't in the base game as of yet. But even more interesting is that the Piglins on the left-hand side are holding spears of all things. This is making me wonder if in the base game we're going to be getting spears which are somehow crafted with this stuff. I don't know. Next we get a short clip of a wolf in front of the moon, and I just want to know why its stomach is shaved. That looks just wrong. I'm sorry. That's no, I don't like that. Before we continue our thrilling analysis, I just want to say that if you're enjoying the video so far, maybe consider subscribing. I'm personally not a fan of relentlessly begging my audience to do so, but as we do approach the release of the movie, I'm going to be making a lot of content about it, so you're probably going to want to stick around for that. Moving on to the scene presumably in Steve's base, we see a basement packed with background details. The close-up shot of the enormous crafting table shows us something resting on top of it, a battery for some reason. I never heard of the brand Rayovac until now, so at first I thought it was some kind of energy drink. If this is some kind of product placement, I hope that at the very least it's not too egregious. If you look in the background, we also see 2 blast furnaces. Zooming out from a close-up shot, we see a lot in the background. Moving from left to right, we see an ender chest, the Wanderer painting, a hell of a lot of TNT, a jack-o'-lantern, potion of swiftness, leather cap, some redstone lamps, the boots of swiftness from Minecraft Dungeons interestingly, 2 diamond helmets, some books, a lantern, and a spyglass followed by some rockets. In this shot we also see Garrett crafting some kind of twin bucket linked by a chain. Note that there's no actual discernible crafting recipe for this, he kind of just hits a bunch of iron with a hammer. I should also mention that when he does this he yells out kadoosh. according to subtitles for the trailer. Now, obviously, this is just some made up nonsense, but I do have to draw parallels between Skadoosh from Kung Fu Panda, which also stars Jack Black. The next shot of the same mountain fortress from earlier in the teaser has me very excited for one particular reason. If you look closely on the top right hand side of the bridge, we have the best look at villagers in the movie so far. If they aren't voiced by Element Animation, I will be thoroughly disappointed.
Villager news. Does my mustache look alright? Okay. Hey!
Oh yeah, there's also Steve carrying a shield, running away from something. I don't know, probably piglins. We then see a brief shot of the cast leaving a tree floating, and because of this, I hope they all die by the end of the movie. We then see piglins, presumably in the village from earlier, where we see two hanging signs for Steve's lava chicken and the exploding pig. The fact that the right-hand sign says Steve's Lava Chicken leads me to believe that there could potentially be others in this village, perhaps even a few YouTuber cameos, because why would he really feel the need to label it if it's just him? Update, something that wasn't originally in the script for this video. I watched Mumbo's video on this, and he said a whole bunch of YouTubers were invited to, the set of the movie, so I'm willing to bet that's what they were there for. I don't think they were just there to, see the movie set, I think. Well, I mean, obviously that was part of it, but I'm pretty sure they were probably going to be filming cameos while we're there. So, yeah, the ones I saw in the trailer, his video, I don't know, I hadn't really looked at it too hard, but there's him, Dan TDM, LD Shadow Lady, and there was a few others, I think, I don't know. I'll probably get back to that later. We then see Garrett being stalked by a creeper, and I have to say, this thing is just adorable. I know the CG artists probably couldn't have made them look too scary, as this movie is made primarily for kids, but when the sheep and wolf are unironically scarier than the actual hostile mob, that's a problem. What's more interesting in this shot, in my opinion, though, is that surrounding Garrett we see, of all things, fireflies. Bold move, Mojang. Bold move. The most interesting shot in the trailer, in my opinion, however, is in the Nether. If we look past all the piglins in the foreground, we see some kind of hunched figure holding a staff on a throne. What is most intriguing, however, is that it has glowing purple eyes, the signature feature of the Enderman. This leads me on to my next point, that throughout the teaser we actually see very little to do with the end other than the ender chest earlier. If we remember back a few years, a lot of plot leaks seem to be to do with the end, but that no longer appears to be the case, and I have a very specific theory as to why that is, and I'll be going over that in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. In the final part of the teaser, we see Jack Black's Steve up and close and personal for the first time, and in the background of the turret the cast is situated upon, we see that is made of sideways logs. The builder in me is crying. We also see one final shot of the presumed MacGuffin. After the title card, we get one last shot of a llama, which I love the design of, by the way. But what's most interesting to me is the flower bed on the right-hand side. It doesn't really match anything currently in the game, and on the left-hand side we see blocks reminiscent of flowering azalea leaves, except the flowers are red. One final point I want to bring up is that of the soundtrack throughout the teaser, that being Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. Now, because I do try to keep my channel moderately family friendly, I'm not going to go too deep into the meaning of the song, but at its bare basics, it was written for a short film about a group of ordinary people going on a magical journey on a bus. Now, obviously there's no bus in the trailer, but it is about a group of ordinary people getting sent to a far-off strange land, so there's parallels there. And that's all we've got until we get the full trailer, or at very least another teaser. When a full trailer does end up releasing, presumably at Minecraft Live this year, I will most certainly be making another video in the same style as this one, but until then, that's it for now. Like I said, I'll be making a video over the next few days about my personal theory for the lack of end-related content in the trailer, so stay tuned for that. That's it for today's video, everyone. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next one if you choose to watch it.